Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is the Sunday, the 10th of January 2020, and this is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. Hello Margaret. Jen Pon Anuson, Sabaidina. Hello Jenny and Senon, Colin. Hello Colin and everyone. So today is the second Sunday of the January. As usual, we normally have this Remembrance Day, which is in English also known as a Pinkama. That we use the word Pinkama, which is derived from Sri Lankan Sinhala language, and in Thai language it is known as Utit Bun, and in English, in Pali it's called Taksina Nupatan, which is the Pali word. It's a form of a practice. Hello, Lon Mak Loi. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Manish. So this is the Remembrance Day that we have been organizing it every year since we moved into this property. Simply to remember our relatives who passed away, and sometimes we didn't have a chance to see them, and sometimes due to some circumstances we lost them, and sometimes we haven't seen them for a long time, and somehow and suddenly they passed away. There are various ways that we lost our loved ones, and sometimes it can be very painful to accept, and also can be very emotional when we are thinking about someone who we really love and they passed away, which is it's very difficult for so many people, and I believe that regardless of regardless of a religious and a religion, a different religion, regardless of any countries in the continent of the world, whenever we lose someone who we really love and we used to live together and have affections and cared, and particularly those who have given us a good care and a good comfort, and given us wealth and given us education, so many things that we can think of, even just a simple comfort and a company, and we lost them, we lose them, and this is a place where once they leave we cannot have any communication with them at all. So that's why it's like going into the unknown world which we cannot perceive and which we cannot experience it. And as a result of that, sometimes this bereavement can cause a lot of harm to one's mental health and even physical health, and even the family life, and so many other things. So that's why these such activities are like a form of helping us to heal ourselves from this bereavement. And it's simply, it's like performing some activities simply to feel or to heal ourselves by performing such activities. And sometimes due to some reasons and we don't have the time to do, or sometimes due to the different reasons we are unable to do that. And with that, and I thought that we must do something for it, and that is the reason behind and I've been thinking of this this having the events like this. And it happened that in 2015, and someone very close to us had died, and suddenly the family asked me to have a remembrance day, just to remember the good things that a person had done, and in a memory we began to have the ceremony. And when I reflect on that, I also collected that in Asian New Year, which normally falls in the April, 13th of April, and in Thailand normally there is a ceremony after that. It's basically performing rituals that performing meritorious deeds and transferring it to the ancestors or those who passed away. It's called Liang Pi, which basically means feeding the ghosts. And the reason behind this feeding the ghost ceremonies is basically remembering our ancestors or our relatives, those who passed away. And there is a belief saying that New Year time everybody will be celebrating, everybody will be cheering, and they will be performing good meritorious deeds. And our beloved ones, those who passed away, or relatives, those who passed away, they also expect something, hoping that the relatives, those who are performing meritorious deeds, would transfer, or basically would share the merits, so that they will be liberated from the any state they are in. So that is the reason behind they celebrate. There is this sort of rituals, and in the meanwhile, every year, and doesn't matter which continent we have, there is a certain days that is dedicated to remember our relatives or departed ones. And there is a ceremony in Asia, or it's called in India, it's called Sarad, and is there. So it's scattered all around these sort of rituals, and having thought that we celebrate New Year here in West, and I thought, why not we should have something similar like that. And with that in mind, we started this Remembrance Day on the 2nd of January, second Sunday of the January, and every year we have been practicing this simply to remember our departed ones and dedicating merits that we have performed, particularly on that day, or basically today, because today we are simply performing a meritorious deed with the intention that we are sharing that merits to the intended person, and with wholeheartedly we will be performing of that. And this is a form, I would say, healing from losing someone who we loved, passed away, some form of a ceremony or some form of a ritual to heal us. which I found in the West that after someone who passed away, there will be a reception, and after reception, there will be no one talking about it unless the end of the year or the birthdays, and only they will go and think about the person who passed away. And sometimes it can be a very traumatic and difficult to overcome losing someone who we really loved. Sometimes your partner or your husband or your wife passed away, whom you've been living together for many years, and suddenly when they passed away, you have a kind of an empty heart, and it's difficult to overcome. And as a result of that, some form of rituals I found really helpful to overcome these traumas and bereavements. I believe myself that I was fortunate enough to see my both parents died kind of in front of myself, and had an opportunity to perform those death rituals by myself. Attending those events helped me feel that I have done enough for them, and I feel comfortable with that. So that's why it is a form of a celebration of their life and their work that they have done or contributed to us. This is the Remembrance Day, and meanwhile this is another opportunity for us to do the good meritorious deeds for ourselves. And with this we have an opportunity to spare some times performing the ceremony by which wholeheartedly mind and heart is there, observing the sila, the precepts, and even offering few things on behalf of the person who passed away, and then practice of a meditation. So basically we are ourselves also getting some in return as well. So with this in mind, every year we will have the ceremony, and they call it a remembrance, or Pinkama Remembrance Day. And this is what we have done today. And today is particularly very special in a way that in the past, when there is no COVID-19, we normally will have people coming at the center. They will be offering a dana, so they will be starting with the chanting, meditation, and offering a dana and a dhamma talk, and transferring merits, and so like that. But whereas today, because of the lockdown, our center is also closed, and no one is allowed to coming inside the building. And as a result of that, today's ceremony purely by Buddhist monks, and then done by monks. So that's why it's very special. Furthermore, it's very special in a way that there are so many talks, and we don't have to worry about people need to going back homes, whereas in the past we need to be mindful of the time and thinking of, our members have been here since 10 o'clock, and then they are staying until 2 o'clock, some sort of like that. And then there is a worries that how can we organize the time. Whereas today, because we are doing online, we don't have to worry about the time. All what we wanted was to deliver and do properly, so that all the departed ones will receive good merits. So, today I am feeling very happy that the ceremony went very well despite of any people. Normally ceremonies should have people attending. Today no people physically appearing, but online there were a few people joining with us for the ceremony, observing the sila, talking and sharing like that. So this is the Remembrance Day, and which we have to do. In a way, and a Remembrance Day, and also when we look at the Buddha's teachings, there is called wholesome deeds. There are 10 types of wholesome deeds, and among those 10 types of wholesome deeds, the 2 types which comes under that 10 types of wholesome deeds, and the one is called Anumodana Maya Bun, Anumodana Maya. The second one is Patidana Maya. So Patidana Maya is basically you perform some merits by physically or verbally or even thinking, by offering to something, or practicing a sila or practicing a meditation, and after you have accumulated some merits, then you have an intention to share that merit to a particular person who we are intending to. And that's why it is also known as unseen mental energy. When we talk about unseen mental energy, then we basically know that our thoughts has got so much power, and our thoughts can link as kind of a telepathy that one can link to so many other things. And here unseen mental energy also can travel to intended places. Even when we, in a conventional level, when we see, when we observe our mind, we can see that mind can travel so far. Within millisecond, we can be in America, we can be in Thailand, Australia, New Zealand, on the moon, so many places, traveling hundreds of miles away immediately in a flicking moment. And suppose, think about it, that these frequencies, when you are thinking about it, then it can travel that far. And since we have this concept that whoever passed away, they are reborn in one of the 31 planes of existence, and which is again vast and vast. In relation to that, I have spoken previously a few talks as well, that there's 31 planes of existence, and these all are connected. And when you are thinking, then they also could receive it, and which is again, recently there has been a research, scientific research as well, that there is a parallel universe, or even there is some scientists have arguments saying that you simply move one hand, that means you are affecting the entire world system of this universe. And that's the scientifically not proven, but the what's called synopsis. So that's why when they have some form of a theory of like that, and physically could affect to the entire universe, then I am pretty sure what the Buddha said, that every frequency of our mind can travel to so far away, and then physically we can also experiment it, that within just thinking about the place, we can travel that far within a flicking moment, like Myanmar, Thailand, India, and America, like that. The flicking moment, you can travel that far. So then in a mental state, when our mind is pure, when our mind is clean and free from all the defilements and have a pure intention, definitely it can travel far away. And basically, as we do understand that the frequency of our mind is invisible, so does the departed ones in 31 planes of existence. So wherever they are, they could I believe, feel our vibrations and our thought, and that is the patidana maya. So you simply, after having done some good things, meritorious deeds, and with your pure motives, you are intending to share that merit to a person, a particular person that you are intending to. And if they are in a state, and this is also again very important, that every people who passed away are not eligible for the receiving our merits or transferring our merits. They have to have the tuning in and also in a state of ability to receive that too. It's like if you are transferring a bank account, transferring a merit, transferring a money to one bank to another bank, then there has to have some special so-called SWIFT code or IBAN like that. And once you have given your IBAN, or like suppose, the example is, suppose now you want to offer a donation to the temple. And now, in order to offer a donation to the temple, first you have to have account number, the center's account. And this is again, if you are living in the UK, then it's easy for you having this account number. You can simply transfer it. But again, remember, there is a specific number for the bank account. And now again, if you are transferring from the abroad, then again you have to have a special codes that is known as a SWIFT code or IBAN. Otherwise you cannot. Otherwise you cannot. So you have to have that. Only then you will be able to receive the transfer. So similarly, in the patidana maya, simply you have a money or you have a merit and you are transferring to someone who you would like to. And in that case, it's called anumodana maya. Anumodana means you're simply rejoicing on someone's offering, someone's good deed. That's called anumodana. And that's why in Buddhist traditions, there are few ways of saying anumodana. First, suppose you have done good things, and then you will be saying sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That means you're rejoicing on your good deeds that you have performed. And meanwhile, whenever you heard that someone has done something good, so you do your merits by, let's say, giving a dana or practicing of sila, and then again you simply raise your hand and say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And so with that, you are also rejoicing your own merits that you have done. And then secondly, you are in the presence, but you are not the door. Where you have seen that someone has done good things, then that moment again, you raise your hand and say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That simply means I rejoice on someone's good deed. That way also you will get the merits. That's called anumodana. And then more than that, you are living in a home and someone called you and saying, oh hello, how are you today? And then, oh, I went to the temple and give a dana, or I observed the sila, or I went to the school, orphan school, and I did offering, give food, or I went to on the street and I offer some money to the homeless. That moment, after hearing that someone has done these good things, you simply raise your hand and sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You become a part of that too. So simply you are tuning into that good merits that someone has done, and you will be the receiver of that. So that's the reason, as a receiver, you have to have the mental factors that you are ready to receive and say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And that is the reason why, whenever someone passed away, if they are in a state of receiving our merits, then they should kind of a tuning in, and once they tuned in, and they can And then after tuned in, simply they are saying that sadhu, sadhu, I rejoice in my relatives' merits that they have transferred it for me. And that is how you will be receiving the merits, and you will be freeing yourself from that state. It is simply like you are struggling. Suppose you travel far away and you run out of money, and you didn't know how to sort out yourself and travel back home, or travel to somewhere safer, somewhere nicer. And in that case, you will simply call your relatives far away, and you will be calling so many people. Sometimes some people will, some relatives will be receiving your call. Sometimes when you're calling to one of your relatives, they will not receive the call, and other times they will receive a call, but they are unable to help you, like that. And then sometimes after you have called, there is someone who is willing to help you, and in that way, when he or she transfer money to you and you receive it, so that's how you will be moving from that deprived or difficult place to the safer place. So that's why the transferring a merit is like that too. This is my understanding. And that's why the second one is the anumodana, that we always need to learn to rejoice on someone's merits and someone's good deeds that they have done. And once we can do that, and definitely we will be able to say sadhu, sadhu, and we are also receiving it too. In the psychological form, psychological term, we have to learn this anumodana, or saying rejoicing others' success, and which again is very crucial to bring the emotional balance in our life, and which I think is a lack in the current day, particularly in America. Now, Joe Biden, he won the election, but whereas Donald Trump was not rejoicing in his success, but he was feeling sad that he lose. So this is simply because we cannot rejoice on someone's success, and as a result of that brings a conflict and a harassment and troubles, and can bring harm to so many people. So that's why learning to anumodana on anyone's success or anyone's merit making brings this mental balance in ourselves too. So learning to rejoice on someone's success and merits helps to balance our emotion, and also brings the harmony in our life. And that again, because you are giving as a patidana, or giver, and there is a receiver, anumodana, so he or she says sadhu, sadhu, and then they will be entitled to receiving it and be free from it. So I think I have to end here my reflection for this Remembrance Day, and thank you everyone for joining throughout the day and listening now this reflection talk tonight. And may you all be well and happy, and may all your relatives, those who passed away, may they also rejoice in our merit making and transferring it to them, and if they are in need, may they be free from there, and if they are in a wrong place, may they be free from there to be reborn in a good place. With this, I will end here, and thank you everyone for watching. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. In a few moments' time, we are going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. So, sadhu.